Okay, this looks super cool, but it's way easier than it looks to put together, and you're gonna be able to make them with cardstock or designer series paper. Welcome to Sunny Day Stamping, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm Julie Baca, and we're going to be making that pinwheel. I've seen pictures of this online and other demonstrators doing it. Jackie Ballheist did a video on this. I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to try this card. So after you watch the video, you can go over to my blog post. There's a link in the description of this video to take you directly over there. You're going to be able to see all the pictures of the examples. I'll list out the color combinations that I used, and you can purchase the supplies right from there if you want them to look like mine. But man, it's going to be able to be used with so many different things. I'll also put all the measurements over on that blog post too. All right, let's get started. So you're gonna start by choosing some colors that you love. You can choose 2 colors, or you can choose 4, or you can choose 8. There are 8 squares. And I just wanted to show you how I store my paper scraps. I've got them in page protectors, and I write the name on them, and then I can save all my pieces. You guys know I have such a hard time throwing away paper, but this, and then I store these right with the full sheets of cardstock. So in order to come up with the color designs I'm gonna show you, I've got a couple to show you at the end. I just like pulled out all my papers and I like mixed them around and see which ones bumped up against each other. And I think I came up with some color combos you guys will like. So I've got a cutting tip to help you cut out these squares. They are 1 1/4 inches. So I am going to line up any length of scrap at the 1 1/4 inch, and that way, now when you put it back in, you can do 1 1/4 inch on this side, and you're going to be able to just slice off a ton of squares like that. I love this paper trimmer that the measurements are on both sides. So depending on where your scrap is, you always have a handle for where you're going to cut. So because these I needed 2 of each color, I cut my scraps at 2 1/2 by 1 1/4. That way I didn't have to deal with a tiny piece of paper, and I just slice this in half at 1 1/4, and then I've got 2 perfect squares. You do not need to remember all of those measurements. They are over on my website, sunnydaystamping.com. And if you'd like this print and make project sheet, this goes out to my email subscribers on Friday morning. You can sign up for my email in the description of this video, or it's on my website. After that, this project sheet goes to my tutorial store, so you can pick it up there if you missed it. So for this project in particular, it's going to be really great to use this Stampin' Up! Grid paper. I love this stuff. It's a huge piece of paper, great for protecting your work surface. And these lines, I'm going to show you 2 ways to use them for this project. So we're going to start by, you see that black edge? We're going to start, that is our card, like our base for our pinwheel. And in order to get, we want that to be exactly right, because then the rest of the squares are going to fall in perfectly. So that's why I use this grid paper, and I'm going to line it up on the lines there so I know that this is perfectly at the right angle. Now you're going to take your other square, put glue on it in the middle, and then instead of lining it up perfectly, you're going to rotate it until you see all those beautiful triangles, and you're going to actually line this up on the grid paper also, and then you know you've got it exactly right. Once you've got it there, push it down. I like to use my bone folder to kind of rub across it. That way I know the glue is nice and flat and it is perfect. Now grab all your squares, and I like to organize them so that I don't accidentally put them in the wrong order when I'm all happily gluing away. So I just kind of line them up like this, and then I know I'll go down the line and put them in order. This is so easy to do. The very first one is going to be different. So for the very first one, you're just going to put glue on that one corner there and line that up. We need this to be able to be lifted up at the end so we can slide the last one in there. So this is kind of just a halfway glued piece, and we will glue the rest later. Now, after you have that one on there, you can see you want to line it up so it's the margin is perfect on that point. And then grab your next color. Now you can put glue all over, and you're gonna just line it up with the corner there, and you're gonna overlap it. Grab your next color, and we're gonna work with that black point there. Do you see it coming? And then the next one. And so we're really just looking at these points all the way around, making sure that this corner of the square has the right margin with that point, and then you know you've got it perfect. So now we've done the first 4. Now we're going to start back up here at the top, continuing to glue all the way around. You just work your way around. So remember, this last one, you can't glue it right on there because that just does not look right. So you want to be able to slide it underneath here. And you got to put glue on it first, so I didn't want to slide it like that. I guess you can pick it up with your finger, but I thought the easiest way for me was to use this pointy tip of my take your pick tool, put glue on here, take this to lift this way up so I can get this piece in here, because I don't want to be sliding that piece across these other pieces because it'll get glue on in there. And you can see that that is perfect, but you can see that this is poked up, right? So now we need to just add a little bit of glue along that line. Can you see in there? Just a little bit of glue and push that down. And it's perfect. Now the inside is a little unsightly. You can put a gem there, but what I did was just took, because I had scraps left over from the black base, just take a 1/2 inch strip and slice off a little 1/2 inch little square there. Pick it up, put a little dab of glue on it. Uh-oh. Oh no, it wasn't stuck. I'm like pressing them together. That works. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I'm trying to be all fancy and it's not working. Okay, and then you're going to put that right in the center there. I think that just kind of draws it all together and makes it this big, bold, beautiful pinwheel. So see, that did not take long at all, and it's so, so cool. Okay, so to finish off the card, grab your grid paper again. I'm going to show you another trick for you. So another thing you guys know about me is my handwriting is just embarrassing. So when I saw this stamp set that has the handwriting that I want, I wish I could do this. I know there are people out here who can do this, but I love the look of the flourishes at the beginning and end of these. And it just makes for a very quick card that's gorgeous. So, but it can be hard to get these on straight. So let me give you a tip. When you have words that you just really want to be straight, use your grid paper, line up your words on your grid paper, and then line up your block over the stamp, but lined up with the lines of the grid paper. If your stamp is straight on your block, man, you got a much better chance of getting it straight on the card. So instead of stamping on the card right now, let's test it. I like to do this so I can know if I need to adjust. So now I'm going to pretend that I'm stamping on my card, and I'm going to stamp it straight where I think it's straight, and we'll see if I was straight. Hey, so I see how this is going down a little bit, so I know, okay, I need to adjust it up this way a little bit next time. So then I'll test myself again, and this is only if I'm being like super, super picky. So then I'll test myself again and be like, yes, you did it right that time. So while I've got my right juices flowing, I grab my paper. This is going to go on the front of the card. And so now I'm just going to do what I just did. You could also put your pinwheel on here so you kind of have an idea of where you want your stamp to go. So I know I want my pinwheel there. I can even, if I'm really unsure, line my paper up with my grid lines here, and then I can line up my block and then just press it down, and I'm going to get it straight. Oh, yes. See, that is perfect. And it looks like I hand drew that, but it's not. It's a stamp. So now grab a card base. Oops. So now grab a card base, and I just wanted to do white on white because I wanted that pinwheel to just be the star of the show and really stand out. There, you can see I was having a hard time. I scored that, but it wasn't perfect. So I line up the corners of the card base and then use the bone folder, and now it's a perfect card. Okay, so now take this piece that we just stamped on, glue that puppy in place. Isn't that just a great backdrop? And it looks so cool having the flourishes kind of cut off right there. And then you can glue this directly on. But this is such a cool card. I want this pinwheel to be popped up because you can see when it's popped up, it creates that shadow behind there. So I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals for that. These are little foam adhesive that's just going to make that stand up just a little bit. So you need at least one in each of these four corners, and then one in the middle. Then just take off the backing. It's like double stick tape, and it's just going to stick right on there. So you can line it up, you can line it up like this, or you can rotate it more so it's at an angle, whichever way you want to do it. Just pop that on there and you've got just a gorgeous card with so many possibilities. Let me show you other examples. So for this one, I wanted to do kind of a blue-green thing going on. I'll have all of these colors over on my blog post where the supplies are, because honestly, I forget what I use. Now this one, same idea, but I wanted it to be more fall. I used a basic beige card base and these gorgeous fall colors with gold to make it really pop out. Like this is a congratulations. So this is kind of like a more fancy card. And then lastly, instead of using cardstock, pull out your little scraps of designer series paper that you don't want to waste. This is a great scrap card because a 1 1/4 inch square is tiny. So you can usually find the scraps so you don't even have to go cutting into your pretty designer series paper. So which ones are you gonna try? The cardstock ones or the designer series paper? I put out a new card making video every Thursday, so I hope to see you next week. I appreciate you watching so much. Give me a like if you watch this video, man, that helps me out so much. You can also hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified. Thank you so much for watching. Have a sunny day.